Namaste and greetings to everyone. How are we all today? Welcome to my channel. I'm your host, cryptidmasterkd, and the Enlightenment Being, here to guide you on your adventures into the Himalayas, where it's said in folk tales that a monster lurks. And you're all gonna ask, where am I now and why am I meditating? Because here, I have found it. I have found the legendary place. A place only supposed to exist in this. I have found Shangri-La, the holy place of eternal enlightenment. And I'd like to welcome you all to another episode on the cryptidmasterkd channel of our number 4 Bigfoot species from around the world. Alright, let's do this, people. And you're gonna ask, what is it? Well, I shall invoke the magic card. Today's great beast is called the Yeti. Yes, we've come all this way for the Yeti. Now, Yeti is a very interesting creature, and a very terrifying one for that matter. Now, what we have here in our list today, in order to find it here, people, we must travel all the way to the great mountains of Nepal, the most inhospitable and yet spiritual place in the world. Such a beautiful country and place. Such a dark creature. Now, all that aside, you're gonna ask me, what does the Yeti look like? Well, I had a picture that I took, but looks like I'm out of luck there. But the Yeti is mostly described like this. The creature is described as about 7 feet tall. Now, most of modern time depictions of the Yeti indicate a creature with white fur. But the cryptozoological depictions of the Yeti is a 7-foot tall creature with long arms, muscular, very robust. And unlike its counterpart, Bigfoot, the Yeti leaves these strange tracks that look more primate-like than actual Bigfoot here. In fact, most cryptozoologists here believe that, most of the time here, when we think of Yeti, we think of of the same creature as Bigfoot. However, that's not the case here. The Yeti is a completely different creature altogether. And like I said, it's because of the weird footprints, and its dwelling place is way, way high beyond any forests. But most depicting of the Yeti and its reputation is its violent reputation. And that's the most scariest thing about the Yeti, is not only can it scare you, but it's been known to attack people. Well, and in many cases, kill them. Now, many people wonder why, but that's a different aside here. So, the Yeti, in many accounts, is altogether dangerous, and the most dangerous predator on the planet. And without all the way, one great example of the bloody reputation of the Yeti happened in 1974, where a young Sherpa girl of the Sherpa people in Tibet, she was hurt. It happened way back in the western Himalayas. The girl's name was, see if I can pronounce this right. I wrote a script. Yeah, I figured that out. Lakapa Dharma. This girl was tending to her. This girl was tending to her herd of yaks on the western side of the Himalayas. And she was minding her own business and herding her yaks here, when according to her, she heard this odd whistling sound, which is very common in Bigfoots. She heard a whistling sound from behind her, and she saw this overwhelming feeling of the creature. And she turned around, and this Yeti ran at her. This creature just ran at her and beat her and took her by her leg and threw her into an icy river, where she passed out. A couple hours later, you see, she woke up, and when she came to, she saw a group, all of her her entire herd of cattle had been completely abolished. They'd all been killed. They'd been torn apart. And her last statement is that as she eyewitnessed this, she heard a large creature running away on two eggs, and she could tell it was big. Now, this account is one of many where the Yeti is considered very violent and threatening. However, recent evidence in Russia has proved that the Yeti is not just bound to the Himalayas. And many times it's been seen throughout the world. Okay, this next story I'm about to tell you happened in January 27th, 1959. Izoni, Russia. Now, oh boy, a group of college students. A group of college students rode to this particular location in Russia. They brought everything they needed. They were very well prepared. And what happened? They weren't heard from. After 2 weeks after they disappeared, after they didn't come back from the university, after they didn't come back from the mountain, a military search party was launched. And yes, they were found. And it was a very horrific sight to behold here. These students here had been completely, their camp was pretty much in shambles here. Part of the tent that they saw had been cut open and by a knife, almost like it was something had forced them out of the tent, and something scared them to a degree where they would pretty much run for their lives here. Well, what could it be? Well, the answers to that lay within the victims' bodies themselves, which indicate here what exactly attacked them. Now, several of the individuals here had died of hypothermia. However, other of the bodies that were found were, in a word, mutilated. They were completely mutilated here. The creature, whatever it was, all the signs on the body indicated this was not a local, typical predator here. This was done by a primate. And the way they could tell is, okay, trigger alert here. For those of you who have a sensitive stomach, please leave the room here because it's gonna get gruesome. Actually, more than gruesome. The bodies here had been, the facial features were what was noticed first. One individual's eyes, his nose, and his tongue had completely been ripped out, and his chest had and one victim's chest had completely been broken into, like something had smashed it. And this had to be a very strong creature to use this. Now, this was not a normal thing here. This is something that is mostly found in large primates. Usually what happens here in the category of primate defense behavior is usually like chimpanzees and gorilla. What'll happen is they usually go for the face first, in the same locations as the victims here. And although the mystery to the local authorities was baffled, we of the Cryptozoology Society here, we think we know what did this, and it fit the description because one piece of proof that was put in this was there was a camera that they found by the authorities here. When scientists were able to uncover and take a look at the picture lenses here, they found one image that pretty much could have explained what attacked. The creature, whatever it was large, upright, and it looked kind of like a Bigfoot. But it had a cone-shaped head here, And this is something typical with the Yeti. It doesn't have like the robust head of a normal Bigfoot. It has the head of almost a cone shape. And the picture depicted a perfect piece of evidence that this was a Yeti. But how? And it's not just last story. This last story I'm going to tell here was one of the most interesting things about Yeti, where there was a family of them. And no, it wasn't in the Himalayas, it wasn't in Russia. Now, I think we're all in danger here, because this sighting happened on Mount Shasta in the United States. So great, now we got a Yeti in the United States. We're already trying to find Bigfoot here. How the hell did a Yeti get into the United States? That'll kind of be explained in a minute. Now, it was Thanksgiving. It was in Thanksgiving of 1987. Almost, I think five or 4 years. Yeah, 5 years after Wonder Woman had her way with an... Mom! Shut it! Like, you just said my name. You can't say my name here. But yeah, after that, Wonder Woman, the whole thing, this Yeti sighting happened almost a few years after that. So, what happened, you ask? And I apologize for the interruption. That was rude. So, a local man who we'll call Jason, because I don't want to reveal his name here because you know, we don't want to put his identity out here. Plus, I can't remember because I licked too many mushrooms. Or was it the toad that I ate? Who knows? Because I'm the cryptidmaster here. So I eat weird stuff for my shaman enlightenment. Anyway, Mount Shasta, 1987. Now, Jay and his friends here, after Thanksgiving dinner, drove up to Mount Shasta after dinner with his wife-to-be. Jay and his wife-to-be and a few friends had gone up to the mountain. They for whatever reason but they wanted to go to this cabin that had pretty much been handled here by an avalanche. Like I was... I think I just heard a Bigfoot. Wouldn't that be great to get on here? Anyway, Jay and his friends had gone to the mountain, and they finally arrived near the cabin. And as they're approaching the cabin, all of a sudden, they had this highly musty smell just started drifting around them. And as they got closer to the cabin, it got more... This is where it got more like very intense. It grew stronger and stronger. And just as they were about to approach the cabin here, all of a sudden the door opened. The door opened, and out of that door came 3 yetis. Now, the eyewitness here describes the male yeti as being about 7 feet tall, large and muscular, the way I described it many times here. As for the female, she was just a couple inches shorter than him. And then from behind her came a baby. And it was probably about a couple years old. And what happened here was the creature, the baby, that is. I'm not making sense. The baby, according to our eyewitness here, was holding on to its mom's arm like it was afraid. Now this is where a dangerous situation can happen here with any animal. Well, the maternal instincts for that baby would have been very high at this point. So the two of them, all of them just started walking backwards. Jay and his friends here started walking backwards. And after that, they just kept walking backwards until they reached the car. And all this time, the creatures were watching them leave. Now, my last thoughts here before I wrap this video up is, how are these creatures here in America? Well, some cryptozoologists say here that is kind of what the people of Nepal believe this creature could be. And they believe it's a divine being. A being from another dimension, or another plane, I guess you could say. Hey. And that it can, teleport and travel through space and time to certain locations. And it's supposed to be here a guardian of the sacred places. I mean, we wonder why we never found Shangri-La or any of that until now. Is because this creature is a protector, a guardian. And this isn't just linked to Yeti. Bigfoot is supposed to be a guardian too. And that's why, and because it comes from a different plane of existence, why we're not finding any bodies here. However, not that I'm too quick to dismiss this theory. I'd like to point out a theory that may be agreed by some people here, and that's the hollow earth theory. Now I know, that sounds like it just came from the Monsterverse, but it is a real theory here. And what is the hollow earth theory? Well, listen up. Some scientists, particularly ones that are pretty much ridiculed for this, believe that they're deep underground. They're maybe through mountain passes and all. There are these pockets under the earth that maybe either it could be like a crystal or something that emits the same light as the sun, and and there's water down there, maybe altogether an ecosystem down there, the likes we have never seen before. And that's why and this must be how the Yeti, Bigfoot, and other cryptids like the Loch Ness Monster, Champ, and Mokele Mbembe, the African dinosaur. All these creatures, some of them, at least, could be, living in these hollow places, in these pockets of huge places under the earth. Perhaps, maybe they came from the dinosaurs or something. Maybe the dinosaurs who were there pretty much went in there to escape extinction, to escape what happened. All that said, if you think about it that way, that maybe some of the so-called sacred caves that go deep down, that most cultures if you think about it in the humanity way, in sort of the spiritual way here, a spiritual people like the religions like Tibet, and maybe even Native Americans and other places that they've seen these caves, and some say that they've heard stuff in there. Even the Greeks believed that caves led to the underworld. So we have to start somewhere. And no, I don't think it leads to hell. But if you think about this, the Hollow Earth could be an example of, could be a good explanation for why we haven't found any bodies, why we don't know where these things go, where they come from. Where do they go? The answer is right there. They came from the Hollow Earth. They came from these pockets that may contain prehistoric life. Ancient prehistoric life down there. There could be an ecosystem down there like we've never seen before. Maybe in the future we may go down there and find herbs and special things that maybe new medicine that can cure cancer and other element diseases. And maybe we'll find Sasquatch. However, there is one last thing. According to some eyewitnesses, this is both with Bigfoot and Yeti. Some say that it has the ability to appear and disappear. And, just vanish in mid-run here. So, I believe there is a logical nature explanation for that. And many people say, it's a supernatural being that can appear and disappear, travel from both worlds. I respectfully disagree, because there is something like this in the natural world of nature. A special thing that happens to some animals here when they try, in a word, to camouflage. A special ointment in the skin. Special cells in the skin called chromatophores. And chromatophores are mostly found in cuttlefish, chameleons, octopus, and some species. But if you think about it this way, this could be the first primate we know that has chromatophores. Maybe a strange, powerful one that allows it to appear and disappear. That is one scientific thing that may be explaining the sightings. And that's why we're not finding them, because obviously, like with Bigfoot, we go out looking for it, we don't find it, even though we find traces. But the reason is, these things are camouflaged with chromatophores. Maybe. And pretty much while we're looking, even right now as I'm sitting in this chair, we're looking for these creatures, for these Bigfoot-like creatures. When the reality is, they could be right there with you right now, watching you. This is typical, especially in Native American culture. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the video. I hope my great cryptid knowledge here has helped you and bring new ideas to future cryptozoologists both in the scientific community and all other cryptid lovers out there. So, with that out of the way here, people, I would like you all to like, favorite, and subscribe, share with friends, and comment down below what you think I should do next. Because I already have on my next Bigfoot species. And then, after that, I am planning to do a top 5 werewolf creatures from around the world. Give me ideas. With that all said, I love you all. Have a good rest of day or night wherever you are. Be careful, stay safe. And with that all said,